Hey everyone, Rosemarie Havsom back again to help you take full control of your life by what you choose to put at the end of your fork. Let's get into it. Did you know that there are 10 things that you need to look out for when it comes to eating sugar? 10 things that sugar does to your body that is not good. And is another reason, 10 more reasons why you should definitely consider cutting back on sugar. Now, what are those 10 things? The number one thing is it makes you look older. One of the things that I love to tell clients that work with me is you can age backwards, but it all depends on what you eat. And one of the worst things to eat for aging you beyond your years is sugar. Now, there's a reason for that. Generally speaking, if you look at sugar and what it does to the body, it provides quick energy. That is true. But then it provides a huge crash that comes after that quick energy spike. And that's usually around an hour and a half after eating sugar. It lowers your immune system for about 6 hours after you eat it. So that's the perfect time to get ill. And it also makes you feel grumpy until you get your next hit of sugar. Now, but why does it cause wrinkles? Because sugar is very dehydrating. Sugar does not allow the cells to get hydrated because sugar is causing an inflammatory response in the cells and needing it so that the cells cannot get the hydration that they need because sugar is in the way. If I just want to put it very, very simply. So when you have that, you don't have the hydration that then would be reflected in your skin, and then your skin would look older and even be prone to wrinkles if you're eating a lot of sugar. So keep that in mind the next time you're being challenged and tempted to eat a lot of sugar. There was a study done about wrinkles and looking older, and that was in the Netherlands a few years ago. And they looked at 50 to 70-year-old adults, men and women, and they found that when there was just 1 millimeter per liter of blood, so 1 millimeter of sugar per liter of blood made you look on average 5 months older. Now, people are eating a lot more than 1 millimeter per liter of blood worth of sugar. So you can just imagine if you do the math and extrapolate from there, you can see how you're going to look older than you want to look. So if you want to look younger, cut back on the sugar. The second thing that happens when you eat too much sugar is it comes out through your skin, and that is with acne. Now, I know a lot of people are listening to dermatologists, and I'm not a dermatologist, and I'm not providing any kind of medical advice whatsoever. However, I am using holistic nutrition principles when it comes to food and food science and how our bodies metabolize food. And the truth of the matter is that what you eat shows up in your skin. The same way that sugar can make you look older, sugar can also make your skin break out with acne. And the level of acne depends on certain things, your genetic makeup and how efficient your skin is, the largest organ in the body, how efficient that is to break down and deal with the bacteria that comes from a lot of waste material that is shed from sugar. Now, I know it sounds really like, oh, is that really the case? But it is. You might want to look into it. Studies have been done to show that sugar is still an issue when it comes to skin health. And a lot of dermatologists have tried to debunk that and say, oh, it's not true, but the proof is in the pudding. So it makes you kind of wonder as to, is it really something that you can avoid when it comes to your skin health and keeping your skin clear of blemishes? Is sugar something that you should avoid? I would say if you've tried everything else, why not try cutting back on sugar and see how that works for you? The third thing to consider about sugar when it comes to your body and some of the negative effects it can have on your body is it can make you prone to type 2 diabetes. Now, a Yale University study showed that not only does it increase your risk of type 2 diabetes by having sugary beverages, sugary drinks, but if you have 1 sugary drink a day, that raises your risk to 83% that you could develop type 2 diabetes. Now, that's a very serious statistic because imagine how many sugary drinks we're drinking in a day. When you look at juice, a sports drink, soda, specialty teas and coffees, it adds up because all of these sugary drinks are having the same effect on our bodies, and that is it's raising our insulin to the point where a lot of us are walking around and are insulin resistant because our pancreas can no longer absorb the amount of insulin that's flowing through our blood because it's too much, it's overwhelming. So that raises your incidence levels of developing type 2 diabetes. The fourth thing that can happen to your body, and that is developing cancer. Certain cancers have been linked to an overconsumption of sugar in the body, and that is breast and colon cancer. When you eat too much sugar, it causes an insulin spike in your body. When that happens, that means a part of the insulin response in the body is that it produces a side effect, which is multiplication of the cells on a cellular level. When you have an overgrowth of cells that can develop into cancerous formations, and that is why researchers believe that sugar can have a very negative effect when it comes to cancer risk on people who are vulnerable to that. So cutting back on sugar is a good way to cut back on your risk of developing breast and colon cancer. It's something to consider. Of course, we have to look at other lifestyle changes and lifestyle practices that can affect your risk for certain cancers as well. But sugar is a very simple thing that we need to look at that can have that effect. One of the other things that comes with overindulging in sugar is it has a horrible effect on your teeth. And we all know that. We were always told to brush our teeth at least twice a day and floss. And the thing to remember is that it's not just about keeping your teeth clean. The reason why we brush our teeth is to cut back on the bacteria that can grow from being fed from the food that we eat. And the thing that bacteria loves the most is sugar. And that is why people can develop cavities and ruin their teeth just from eating too much sugar. The thing to remember about sugar is that it is empty calories. There's no nutritional value. There's no nutrients, no proteins, no fiber. It is not recognized as food. But what sugar is recognized as is an energy source. It's a quick energy source, and you can get a spike of energy for about an hour and a half. And then after that, of course, comes the crash because the body can't sustain itself on just sugar because there's no nutritional value. So when you see that, sugar can cause quick energy, but then the energy is short-lived. You have to also think about all of the cascading issues that are surrounded by eating too much sugar. Sugar makes you feel hungry. So that's why when you eat a sugary food or drink a sugary beverage, you feel hungry very quickly after indulging in that. And the reason also messes with our hormones that tells us when we're full and when we're hungry. And that hormone is called leptin. Leptin is really important because it is the shutoff valve to say, I'm full, I've had enough, I'm satisfied, and then we stop eating. When you eat sugary foods and drink sugary beverages, that cancels out the effectiveness of our hormone leptin to signal to us that it's time to stop eating. And that is what can lead to weight gain. When you have weight gain, it's usually going to be around the middle. Belly fat loves to feed on disruptive hormones when it comes to sugar and eating too much sugar. So we have to keep that in mind when we're looking at how our bodies are reacting when we're eating too much sugar. That sugar is very highly addictive, and it is on the same level of addiction as cocaine. So a cocaine addict and a sugar addict have the same behaviors when it comes to getting that next fix. Now, in the case of sugar addiction, because sugar is everywhere and almost in every single thing, especially when it comes to processed foods, whether they are sweet or savory, sugar is usually added to either make it taste better or to fool your taste buds into thinking that the chemicals that have been added are actually tasting good. The thing with sugar addiction is that it doesn't bear the same social weight as somebody that has a cocaine addiction. The thing that's very similar between the two, or is the same between the two, is that sugar and cocaine attack the dopamine pleasure centers of the brain. And the more that you get is the more that you want. And if you've ever been in a place where you've been having a sugar binge, then you are just the same as a cocaine addict who's having a drug binge to get their fix. Now, what is that doing to your brain? It's affecting how you think, and it's affecting the effectiveness of thoughts and thought processes. Now, neuroplasticity is the way that the brain can change and work in our favor when it comes to learning new habits, healthy habits, new things, learning new languages, new skills. That's all where neuroplasticity comes in to help us learn. However, neuroplasticity also comes into play when you have bad habits that continue over a long period of time, that the brain then becomes rewired to expect to have that addiction fed, even when you're trying not to feed it anymore. And that is why it's very important for us to remember to practice the habits that will help us to lead towards health and not to harm us. So that's how sugar affects the brain. It also affects our mood. And the worst thing to do when you are in a low mood is to eat a lot of sugar, because it will continue to make our moods low. Now, it's very interesting that a lot of times when people are feeling the blues, quote unquote, they then eat chocolate or they drink wine. All of these things are sugar, and the body is crying out for sugar because it wants to feed the bad bacteria that's in your gut that affects your brain and how your brain functions and how your thinking functions. All of that is a cry for help of the body telling you that I cannot process any more sugar. We can do so much for ourselves and live healthier lives if we can cut back on sugar. Sugar can raise your blood pressure. It can help you develop type 2 diabetes. Don't get it twisted. Don't listen to the gurus that tell you that sugar cannot give you type 2 diabetes. It absolutely can set you up for type 2 diabetes by giving you insulin resistance. Sugar also causes weight gain. And especially when we're dealing with 4 out of 5 of all African American women are considered overweight and obese, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And then when you look at high cholesterol, because there's going to be a lot of sugar, and the offshoot of sugar is that it develops into fat. It's hard to shake off belly fat when you eat too much sugar. We are a nation in crisis. We can do so much more to improve our health and our health outlooks. And one of the first and easiest things that we can do is to cut back on sugar. Now, if you need help cutting back on sugar, there are so many programs. I have programs together that can help you cut back on sugar, but you got to check out my YouTube channel for that. And that is in my YouTube channel called Havsom, H-A-V for Victor, S-O-M for Mother. But for now, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time. To your good health, I'm Rosemarie Havsom. Have a good one. Bye.